everybody. Welcome to my run cast. It's long run day, and part of that is to get the hell away from Songkran, which is now in full swing. It takes place in the area where I live over like 3 days, and tomorrow is like the biggest, worst day, but it's already going pretty hard near where I live, and so I'm trying to kind of avoid running through people splashing me, and I think by the time I get to like within 3 or 4 kilometers of home, I think I'm going to be facing that anyway, but whatever. It's been beautiful. My run has been absolutely gorgeous. I'm really happy about that. Actually, I want to see if I can clean my lens. Excuse me. May have actually just made that worse. But so I was talking to Kevin about this morning, and then it just totally got like reinvigorated in what I was thinking because of what I'm listening to. So I almost never listen to music. I'm almost always listening to podcasts or audiobooks. Like I've been listening to Dune, which is like 24 hours. So that's been a long time that I've been listening to that. But the way they do it on Audible is really cool. They do it kind of like a movie. So they have like different voices for all the different characters, and then they have a narrator and stuff like that. It's actually very nice. But I'm listening to music this time. And because my taste in music is so crazy and makes no sense with itself, and I don't actually, when I make my playlist, I don't really think about like these things go together. Like I'm not a person who made like mixed CDs and stuff like that. I'm just like, that has a beat I can run to, and then that made me think of this other song that I really like, so they're gonna go on there. And so it's a little weird. Like, what happened just now is that I was listening to a Nick Cave song, and it was Papa Won't Leave You, Henry, right? So this song, like, it has like a fucking like beat to it. It's got a little bit of the like Nick Cave originally with the birthday party. I wouldn't say they're purely punk. They're pretty punk though. So like he has a punk origin, and then he's kind of developed throughout the years. I don't know if I'd say even that he evolved, but he's developed a lot and changed a lot. And so this kind of has his like punk roots. It's like a very fucking like charging, good to run to song. Shouting, it's really great. Directly after this song, Michael Jackson's They Don't Really Care About Us came on, and I actually started crying. Like I was running up a hill, mouthing along to the song, because I don't sing out loud, but I was like lip syncing, and I'm crying. Like I wear this thing to like cover myself from the sun, so I'm like completely covered from here, but like sobbing as I'm running up this hill, listening to this song that at the time, Michael Jackson singing essentially a civil rights song in the 90s or maybe early 2000s or something. People were like, what the fuck? But like, it's such an incredible song. It really moved me. Like I was very moved by the song. And then what came on after that was Madonna's Like a Prayer, which again, this is good music in the sense of like you can dance to it and sing to it, but like that is not on the same level as the 2 songs before it. Nothing against Madonna, just that song is not like musically complicated or anything. I love the song. I'll listen to it any old day. And then the song that came on after that was again Nick Cave, but it's the Carney. So the Carney is the exact opposite of Papa Won't Leave You, Henry, which is that the lyrics are the entire thing. Like the music of it is actually so dysphonic that you can actually only, look how crazy these leaves are. Can you see this? It looks like they're pixelated or something because of the way that they're like staggered. I'm not high, I actually just think like that. So the Carney is so dysphonic. It's got this like accordion that's like out of tune, and it's got this bong chong chong dong chong chong like Carney music. A little bit creepy. It's like a little bit like a horror sound. And then the lyrics are really important because it's telling a story. And so the story of it is actually like horror also. It's these carnies, and their donkey dies, and the donkey's name is Sorrow, and they're burying it, and then it starts to rain really hard, and it's raining so hard that they have to stop, and it starts flooding. And then it has this beautiful line, they wish they'd done a better job of burying Sorrow, because the name of the donkey is Sorrow, but of course it's just poetic. They didn't do a good job of burying Sorrow. And then as the song finishes, the rain is just flooding so hard that it washes the ground away, and the corpse, the carcass of sorrow, the donkey, starts rising out of the ground. Like, this is a horror show, and it's a song, and the lyrics are really important, because otherwise you're just listening to like some weird, like, chonky circus music. But the thing that this all connects to, this is all music. This is all music I like. This is all music that, in the theme of music, it's incredible that that variety can exist and all be good music. And like, Nick Cave was on there twice. Those are very, very different songs. They're very sonically different, lyrically very different. His whole, like, if you listen to his whole discography, he just changes so much, and it's all so good. There are like no songs of his I don't like. He's really incredible. But the point about this, and what I was talking to Kevin about earlier this morning, is like, when you're a fan of something, like if you're a fan of music, generally as a fan, you're not like, I wish this music had like commercial appeal, or like, wow, my favorite band, I love them so much, I wish they would be really successful. We all wish our bands would be really successful because we want them to be rewarded for being awesome. But we're not like, I wish they would make a really commercially successful album. Usually that's called selling out. Instead, you listen to something that maybe is kind of weird, you know, like, I don't know, Modest Mouse is kind of weird, and you'd be like, I wish this album right here that currently exists as is, I wish tons of people could appreciate and love this as much as I appreciate and love it, because it's incredible as is. You don't wish that it would change to be commercially successful. You're not like, I wish they would make this so that it was more of a pop culture thing. That's what being a fan is you like what it is that they're doing. You don't like wish for them to change what they're doing. Generally, that's actually seen as bad or selling out or whatever. And like, that's not, oh, that is a sweet baby. That's not entirely the case with like, people will dismiss something for being popular just for being popular. Like, people hate Taylor Swift because everyone loves Taylor Swift or whatever the thing is. And maybe it's not your thing, who cares? Like, I don't know. You can sing to it, you can bop your head to it, whatever the thing is. Tons of people like it because it has mass appeal. But in tons and tons and tons of people liking it, you don't then as a person go, that must be really good music. That must be the best music ever written because so many people like it. Instead, there are all these arguments about how Beyonce is like never getting awarded Album of the Year despite consistently having a Song of the Year or something on her albums. I don't know. I don't fully follow this, so I'm not going to get into it. But the point is, something having mass appeal is not necessarily the indicator of it being the best of whatever it is. And when you find something that you really, really love as a fan, you want everyone to love it as it is. You don't want it to change in order to be loved by everyone. So, this is why I get irritated when people are talking about how Muay Thai has to grow. And like, why does it have to, like, how big does it have to be? Like, does it have to be Taylor Swift big? Or like, can Muay Thai just be kind of semi-niche? Like, there are people who find it and love it for what it is, and they get really into it, and they want to learn tons about it. And it's a little bit like an anime. Like, you kind of know the culture, and you like get really into it. And there's something about it being very unique and unlike other things that you're familiar with that make you really interested in it. And there is a counter argument to what I'm saying, and this is a very, very good, very legitimate go fuck yourself Sylvie argument against what I'm saying right now, which is that Muay Thai in and of itself, like without any external influences at all whatsoever, is failing. It's shrinking. It's not doing too good. So I fully admit that the band that we love is not doing huge tour dates. It's not making a new album. It's kind of struggling. That doesn't mean they should do a Christmas album. Necessarily. Like, that's not necessarily the answer to popularity or to success of like making it mass appeal, right? I don't know. The idea of like fans wanting something to change seems really weird to me. Like, fans want something to be other than how it is. Kevin was like, those aren't fans, those are casuals. Which I guess is a term that I know and don't really use myself as much, because I'm not really like talking shit online as much as people who use that word generally do. It is a correct word. It's a very, very good word. And that is what they mean. Hi, baby. Say hi. Hi. Hi, baby. He wanted to say hi, but does not want to be pet. That's okay. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about. I got behind me. Oh, look at this plant too. It's like Jurassic Park when I run home. It's amazing. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking about as I was listening to my music and bitching to Kevin this morning about these things. I had a dream the other night. I'm not going to tell you the dream because who fucking cares about other people's dreams? But it had Sagat in it. And there's this interesting thing about Sagat as a person individually, which is that when Capcom made the character Sagat for Street Fighter, and that's supposedly based on him, uses his name, Kevin has made this argument that it's actually based on Diesel Noi and Sagat, because a lot of the attributes of the character actually apply from Diesel Noi's style, and Diesel Noi's height, and a scar on Diesel Noi's chest, all these things. But the name Sagat comes from Sagat. The two of them were very popular in Japan at the time, so the argument is that the Capcom character Sagat is based off of Sagat Pontui or Sagat Petyindi. It's the same person. So he made no money off of this. Capcom didn't give him a fucking dime. He's made no royalties. He's made nothing off of them using him as an inspiration for their character. So what he did, which is actually kind of amazing, is he just stole the character for himself. So he kind of like dresses as Sagat. Like, he'll wear an eye patch, he'll like wear the shorts and the grimace and all this stuff, and he basically, with his bald head and stuff, has modeled himself wearing the costume, saying, I'm going to steal the popularity of your character to benefit me, because I didn't benefit off of me being used to make your character that's very popular. I think that's actually kind of cool. There's something a little weird about it though, which is that when Sagat dresses as Sagat, like the Street Fighter character, this isn't it. This is not Sagat. This has almost nothing to do with the actual Sagat. He's not like the character in the video game, the like tiger uppercut or whatever the thing is, like very, very loosely based on his style or that kind of thing, but like he didn't call it a tiger uppercut. He now calls it a tiger uppercut. But so him dressing as the character is him kind of adjusting himself to this public image in order to let those water pathways flood into him in a positive way. The opposite of that is people who are looking for Sagat generally through the Muay Thai library, which is really cool. A lot of people, look at this baby. Hi. By the way, if you're in Thailand, be in Thailand when you contact me. If you're in Bangkok and you want to train privately with Sagat, you can contact me with the day that you want to train with him, and I'll call him, make sure he's available, and set it up. Whatever. It's very easy to do. I set up a lot of privates for him. So people who are coming and wanting to do a private with him, generally they're coming through the Muay Thai library or coming through pathways that are somehow associated with me in the library. And so what they're looking for with Sagat is Sagat. They're looking for him. Because they've seen his session in the Muay Thai library, or they've seen some of his footage on YouTube or whatever, and they're interested in the Sagat. And so there's this like duality to the Sagat that he cosplays as and the Sagat that he actually is. And there's a genuine, very true, very legitimate, and very beautiful interest in him as the actual Sagat, the actual one that he is, that's not the costume. And it's important to me that there are people interested in that part of him, that's a part that is continually fostered and honored and respected and shown dignity, because that's really who he is. That's who he actually is. And so it's beautiful to me that people are interested in that part. And I think that that's a little bit what I was saying about like how big does Sagat have to be? Like, does he actually have to dress up as Sagat and go to Comic-Con? Like, is that the end game, or would it be better if people recognized him for what he's actually done and what he actually teaches, rather than putting on a costume and pretending to be a character from a video game? I know which direction I think is cooler, and I'm glad he's capitalizing off of the video game cosplay. But I think it's cooler when people actually respect and love who he actually is and what he actually is and what he actually has to offer. He's incredible. I have never, ever, ever had anyone after their session with him say anything other than that was absolutely amazing and he's one of the coolest people I've ever met. Like, people are just blown away by him. I say he's the best private in Thailand. I stand by that. He's just incredible. He gives a lot of himself. He is an incredible personality, and his technique is just, it's really incredible. So that's what I have to say about that. I'm gonna go run into this sun and hope that I don't get completely drenched once I get into the neighborhoods. Before I go, I'll share one more thing that I like about Songkran, because I've been bitching about Songkran this whole time. Watch my previous video if you want to hear why I don't like it, this like whole water fight thing I'm not a huge fan of. Kevin rides his bike in the morning for like 2 hours, and he was riding out on these rural roads, and he got behind these 2 trucks that had people dancing and singing and splashing water in the back of the truck. This is part of Songkran, is you get in a pickup truck and you drive around and you basically have like a mobile party and you like throw water at each other. And as he was cycling next to this truck, this was at like 9 in the morning, this woman, and these are all older people in the truck, these are not kids, this woman took some water and she gently poured it on his back as he was cycling. This is traditionally how you pour water on people in Songkran, and he actually had a very positive experience with this, which is wonderful, because we've lived here for 12 years now and we've never had positive experiences with Songkran, and I don't think he's ever been splashed before. So he got like a very gentle, nice Songkran. The second thing that I'm going to share with you that I think is really cool, and this is something that I think a lot of Westerners don't even come in contact with, is that you're supposed to bring sand back to the temple. And the cool thing about this is the reason you bring sand to the temple is to replace the sand that you have taken from the temple on your feet. So like every time you go to the temple and you leave, you're like packing out tiny, tiny granules of sand on your feet. So you're taking land from the temple every time you go all throughout the year. Hopefully you're, going often. And so on the days of Songkran, you'll bring sand back to like replenish the sand, to like rebuild the floor of the temple. I find that really beautiful. It's something that the traditional, I don't know what you call it, the way that people deal with elephants, like Mahouts, people who raise elephants. There's a children's book that has elephants bringing the sand back to the temple and putting little flags in it, because elephants have like this very deep relationship to Buddhism and to monks and to kings and all these different things, which is a whole other thing. But the sand going back to the temple is something that I find really endearing about Songkran. So that is a nice thing about this holiday that one should remember and one should know, because it is one of the very, very nice elements of Songkran. So happy Songkran. There's one more day of this nonsense tomorrow, and then a year until I have to bitch about it again. See you guys later.